What's up, guys? Welcome into Good Morning Lambeau. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay here to talk Packers, Dolphins as we're closing in. Man, just one day away from game day. It's wild. This short week sneaks up on you real quick. But before we get into the chat and everything else, geared around the show this morning. I know we got a bunch of people in here. Good to see everybody filing in. Hope y'all are having an awesome morning. Get that diesel cranked up. Let's give a quick shout out to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 92, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Click on the link in the video description. That'll send you to their website, theticketking.com. You can register there as a customer and go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets, guys. It doesn't cost a dime to register as a customer. Go over there, see what the prices are looking like, see some of the games coming up, and they may even have links to some games on the road as well. So make sure you check it out. Ticket King, the official ticket provider, Packer Fan Total Access Live. Tim, you doing all right this morning, man? I know you got the diesel flowing too, don't you?
Good morning.
That was me I don't know, 40 minutes ago or so. But yeah, cup number 2, man. We're ready to roll. Dolphins week. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. Let's get it. You're right. Let's go to the chat, man. Everybody following here. Big group in here already. Appreciate y'all swinging through. Josh Vallanningham. Good morning, PTA Posse. Got that diesel flowing, ready to talk some Packers, Dolphins. Amen to that. Nick McSwain in the house. Good morning, PTA. Got the turkey brining to air fry tomorrow. Air fried turkey. See, we down here in the South, man, we got the clogged arteries. We deep fry down here a lot. Tim, you ever had
that old oil drum and just pop it right in there?
Yeah. And listen, everybody signs a waiver when you get on the property. This thing may blow up. It is what it is. You know, it's a risk we're willing to take, but nothing better than a deep fried turkey. Air fried sounds amazing though, man. It does.
For sure.
Got United Bates in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Good morning to you. Nick McSwain already hey, everybody shut up with the good mornings. Let's talk ball here. He says Tua thrives throwing on schedule. Think it'll be important to jam the receivers to get them off schedule when possible. You guys know I am not a press man coverage fan. I don't like it. Might be the week we need to do it, though. I'm with you there, Nick. We're going to break down a little bit of their tape here this morning and kind of see some of their explosive plays. And I want to give a full disclaimer. Mandy's working Meals on Wheels right now. It's a program we do helping the elderly and disabled here in the area where we – she's feeding somewhere around 100 people right now. So I'm tasked with watching the dogs. Now the Sheps, they are chilling right now. The Shepherds are chilling, but at any moment they might hear someone shut a car door 2 blocks away and lose their ever-loving mind. So if you hear barking, I apologize. There's nothing I can do about it. All right.
Sit your butt outside.
Exactly. Yeah, to go outside. You kidding me? I'll be outside before her, man. She runs a show around here. Prince in the chat. Front office got caught napping on a short week. Not only did they have an open spot on the 53, but the ability to protect practice squad players from being signed elsewhere. Oops. You know, Prince, I agree with that. And Tim, I don't know, you might disagree. Sometimes you look at this stuff and go, no, they probably plan, that's part of their plan. They, wasn't that worried about it. To me, it does kind of feel like they got caught not paying attention there with the whole Jamin Davis going to Minnesota thing. Because I really think we could use him this week, man. I really do.
I was going to say, I couldn't be part of the plan, right? Lose a linebacker when you desperately need all hands on deck right now.
Yeah, and so having an open roster spot too,
Yeah, and we had a spot, exactly. So I'm wondering, do they go snatch somebody off a practice squad to replace? Or like we talked about last night a little bit, are we looking at perhaps Bretton Cox Jr. or JJ Enagbare stepping into that role temporarily to kind of fill the void. I'm hoping we get Edgerrin Cooper back sooner than later because we certainly need him. But good chance to see Tyron Hopper step up here, another rookie linebacker that we were excited about in the draft. So we'll see. But I agree. You can't tell me they planned on losing Jamin Davis like this.
Yeah, it sucks, but again, you just got to adjust and move on. And I think what it'll probably equate out to is you'll probably have a safety. There's going to be occasions that they go to a base look. Like they like to run a lot of 21, a lot of 12. We'll talk about that here in a second. So they run a combination of 21 and 12, which should trigger our base 4-3. And obviously with our base 4-3, well, first let me back up. that combination of 12 and 21 personnel that they run actually is a higher percentage than San Francisco's 21 personnel that they ran. So you're going to get more base in this game, more base defense probably than you would against the Niners. It's kind of how the numbers. Now they may look at the game plan and want to stay in 11 all day long. I doubt it, but what I'm getting at is if you're kind of light on the roster with linebackers, you may end up playing a little more big nickel as opposed to 4-3 because you're a man down there. And who knows, man? Maybe we'll get surprised with the injuries and McDuffie can go and some of these others. I think it was McDuffie that they kind of popped up a little banged up. Was it not? I know we got several guys on the Edgerrin Cooper and Isaiah McDuffie. So
I guess my question is big nickel. Who's that extra safety? You know what I mean? Like we've got Bullard in the slot, we got Evan Williams, we got X back there. We haven't really seen KT Oladapo this year. Who's that safety?
And when I say big nickel, Tim, I guess what I should say is just nickel because Javon Bullard's going to be playing in the slot. So the point is, if Jair doesn't play, I think that we'll be in nickel. The nickel we've ran all year is technically big nickel.
Big nickel, right.
Javon Bullard's a safety. Now, if you want to count him as he's strictly a slot corner, then you can call it nickel. And in that case, would you take him off the field and put someone else on? I definitely don't see that. You know what I mean? Right. That's where it gets a little bit muddy, the water does. But, yeah, so it's technically big nickel because he's a safety on our roster sheet. But I think we'll be in nickel. I'm not saying all the time. I'm simply saying like, hey, when the backers need a breather, hey, let's just stay in nickel here. And what it's going to do is give them an advantage in the running game on those snaps. But it's also going to be disadvantage for them to try to throw on those downs because you've got obviously a hybrid safety in Javon Bullard looking to cover potentially a tight end as opposed to a wide receiver. So it's going to be interesting, though. We'll see how it all shakes out. Now, I really have a hard time keeping up with what the personnel is during the game. I don't key in on that. Many people tell me during the game, yeah, man, we ran a lot of 21. We ran a lot of this. And I'm going, I didn't even realize it because I'm more focused on, like, on Sunday, Tim, nameless, faceless bodies out there. I don't care if they're a backer or not. It's more about where they lined up formationally. Is it too high? Is it single high? Are we middle field open, middle field close? Are we mugging the line? Are we not? And then offensively, from a formational standpoint, obviously. So that's kind of where I get lost. And then we go back, watch the tape the first time and go, there it is. There's that 21. There's that 11, that 118 pony and some of those other unique packages for sure. So, all right, let's see here. Daryl in the chat. Good morning, Clayton. I got a cup of coffee this morning while I wait. There you go, buddy. Get it in. Get that in your system. Boz in the house. Good to see you, Boz. Appreciate you swinging through, sir. All right, let's jump into a couple of things that I had on my Twitter page here. I wanted to show you guys. Matt Schneidman had tweeted out, according to Next Gen Stats, Josh Jacobs, 15 missed tackles for Sunday against the Niners were the most by any ball carrier in a game this season. He also scored 3 touchdowns while Xavier McKinney got his 7th interception in the 4th down pass breakup. Tim, I had to throw the snowplow out there, man. Josh Jacobs, 15 missed tackles against a physical defense like the 49ers, man. Love it.
Oh yeah, you love to see it, right? And he's the best of both worlds, man. He's rough and tumble when you need him to be, and then he's got the agility and the quick juke moves, and he's basically a perpetual combination of the two. He's just extremely hard to tackle. Made a comment about that a few days ago about I don't think I've seen anyone with a solo tackle on Josh Jacobs this year, and probably won't see that anytime soon. They have to send multiple guys. They have to rally to him to try and bring him down. And, with Matt LaFleur in his bag the way he was, hopefully we see that again because he was just scheming things up that cater to Josh Jacobs' strengths. And, hey, this O-line, man, they are some run-blocking dogs lately, moving bodies, pushing the pile. That's what you want to see. So things are starting to click in the running game, and having Josh Jacobs out there is a big part of it, man.
Yeah. Omer in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. He says, Jacobs has won me over, not missing 33 anymore. What's crazy is you knew Josh Jacobs. You had a good idea Josh Jacobs is going to be a solid back, but it's off the field, the leadership. How's that? Boy, to me, he's more than exceeded my expectations there. So I completely agree there with Jacobs. All right, let's slide on up here. I was talking about Bill Belichick. That's not important. I think he may end up with the New York Giants, to be honest with you. We talked about that a year ago. That's kind of his dream job. He loves the Mara family. That's all that was.
Yeah.
Another tweet that
we
went
know
out.
he's not gonna take the Jets job.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. Yeah, here we go. This was kind of cool from ML Football. Wild Packers running back Josh Jacobs is the first player to have 100-plus rushing yards in a regular season game versus the 49ers since 2021. So you're talking about 3 years since a back has rushed for 100 yards against the Niners. I had to double-check that, and I'm pretty sure it was accurate. I couldn't find anything to disprove it. That's a wild statistic there, man.
It says a lot about Josh Jacobs, but I think it says a little bit more about that 49er defense, man. They've been nothing but problems for teams these past three, 4 seasons. And the tide is turning a little bit here. That was, I can't imagine what it was like to be a 49er fan and watch your team getting run up and down the field all day long. They're not used to seeing that. So I'm here for it. I love it. I've been through enough heartache at Lambeau Field against the Niners. So I'm happy. I'm happy to see what we saw. And, hopefully it kept them out of the playoffs. So we'll see how the season ends, because like you always say, man, it doesn't matter about records or how things are going, any given Sunday kind of mentality. I don't care what anyone says. The Niners are not a team you want to run into in the postseason.
Yeah,
we learned that last year.
Not at all, man. Yeah. Our good buddy Rob Westerman over at GBP Daily has put his prediction out for the week. He says Packers 31, Dolphins 30. Boy, I'll tell you what, that would be a hell of a game, would it not? The Packers are currently 3.5-point favorites, Tim. If it came down to a 1-point game on Thanksgiving night, what else can you ask for?
Brandon McMoney with a field goal to win it, huh? That's what it is. I'll take it. Either that or we get a safety or something. And, I don't know. I'm with them though. I don't like to do the score predictions, but I think what we're gathering here is, instant classic incoming, and it's going to be a close game. I don't think we're going to see a boat race at all.
Even better, how about the Dolphins miss an extra point and the Packers don't?
Right. They get a late touchdown, and then they can't tie the game.
Absolutely.
Because Carl Brooks blocks another one.
Right. So Football Insights put this out. Go give them a follow at @football_insights over there on X. So this is cool. It says offense and defense expected points added in the 2024 season. Now, let me explain kind of to me what this means, and you guys may disagree. Running vertically on the left side of this image here is EPA per play allowed. So it's your defense's EPA allowed. Okay, expected points added allowed. And then on the bottom, running horizontally, is your EPA per play for the offense. Okay, and each of them are per play. But essentially, what you've got is your best offenses are going to be on the far right of this graphic, right? Your best defenses are going to be at the very top. So what you see here is kind of like, okay, where are the more balanced teams? The more balanced teams are in the upper right quadrant here, okay? You got the Detroit Lions up in the uppermost right. You got the Buffalo Bills up in that same quadrant. They're further to the right because of their offense, right? So a little bit better at offense than defense are the Bills. The Lions are good at both, to be honest with you. The Eagles, good at both. And then right behind them in this quadrant, you've got the Green Bay Packers. And it just shows you the Green Bay Packers essentially have a top 10 defense and a top 10 offense, right? To the best of my knowledge, they're not like top 3 in either of those right now. I think they're second in takeaways this year, if I remember correctly, which is a huge stat, but just overall defense. Tim, you got a really, really balanced team here. And when you see a balanced team like this, it makes you think, hey, defense travels, right? We talk about that all the time. Defense in the running game travels. We've got a running game. Your defense is playing solid. This is a team, this Packer team is probably better built for the playoffs than we've had in a very, very, very long time. And again, it doesn't mean it's a better team than those 13-win teams. It just simply means when you get into the playoffs, you're not relying on your passing game. You're leaning on the run. And your defense is legit a top 10 defense. Back then, Aaron Rodgers was trying to win Super Bowls with the 22nd defense, the 18th best defense, right? You've taken that next step. I think it says a lot, man. I think it really, really does. And again, you look at Baltimore Ravens, they are the best offensive team in EPA per play, hands down. The Washington Commanders, fourth best it looks like. But they're in that lower right quadrant. in terms of EPA per play allowed. So just something to kind of keep an eye on. What do you think about that? I thought this was real telling because essentially what it says is the better balanced teams in the league in terms of the playoffs are the Detroit Lions, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Buffalo Bills, the Minnesota Vikings, the Green Bay Packers, and the LA Chargers.
Yeah, I agree. And we're in the right company. That's where we want to be, right? You can see the other balanced teams. And I mean, look at the NFC side, right? Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay, Philly. One of those teams is going to win the NFC this year. Mark my words. And it's good to be in the mix, And we all know once the playoffs start, that's when it really gets real, right? It's win or go home, do or die. That's where you want that balanced attack. And the teams that have thrived all year with their, high-powered offense and lackluster defense, they tend to fall off in the playoffs because, a good defense and a balanced approach, balanced attack is what's going to get you over the hump. So it's going to make playoff football that much more fun. But just so proud to see the Pack playing complementary football, both sides of the ball and balanced. That's where we want to be, like you said, in that upper right hand. And you can see that smattering of some of the top tier teams. It's amazing to see the Niners. They're kind of hanging out over there, kind of in the middle ground, despite the record.
They
it
play
proves
good
your
football,
point
man.
that the record doesn't reflect the team always.
Right.
And same thing with Kansas City. You got Kansas City. They only lost one game. They're kind of hanging around on the bottom end of that spectrum. So bottom line, man, Packer fans, we're where we need to be right now this time of year and starting to heat up.
Yeah. Andy Watkins says, better than Taylor Swift's team. I'll take that.
I don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
Daryl confirms what Jordan just said. He says Taylor Swift does not deserve to be talked about on here. She's just a singer, not a player. Hello. Jordan Love is not a fan, evidently. I think he cleaned that up later. He caught some hell from the Swifties out there. But
yeah, he said he found a song or two that he liked.
Yeah. And then speaking of Jordan Love, Jacob Morley tweeted this out. Jordan Love is just, let me actually see if I can close this in where we can see the image too, possibly, maybe. There we go. Jordan Love is just the fifth NFL quarterback since 1950 to have multiple touchdown passes in at least 16 of their first 23 career regular season starts. Love joins the club of Dan Marino, Kurt Warner, Patrick Mahomes, and Tony Romo. That was per the Packers dope sheet. So, again, man, this last game, the accuracy was a little bit of an issue. You could kind of see it all over the tape, but he ends up with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Like you talked about all year long, Tim, he was like at 100% in terms of interceptable passes that got intercepted. You knew it was just a matter of time before we caught some breaks there, right?
Yep, absolutely. And, Jordan is he's finding that balance now. We're starting to see that. We saw that a lot in the Niner game, taking shots, maybe taking risks, calculated risks with the ball, tight window throws, that kind of thing. But, we saw him in that game. He had a couple of meatballs that almost were picked, kind of dangerous, but not like we had seen in the previous weeks. And I think he's finding that balance of wanting to have that killer instinct and, hit the shot play, go big or go home, but also realizing that, win the battles to win the war. And you can't always get it done on one play, one throw. Sometimes you got to live to survive another down. And we saw Jordan protecting the football a lot better against the Niners. And hopefully that continues tomorrow night.
Yeah. Paul Brettel also tweeted this out. Go show him some love. Check out this article. But he had put a previous tweet out that said, it's been a quiet season for Van Ness, but the forced fumble on Sunday could be the catalyst and confidence boost needed moving forward. Quote, I've been waiting for a big play like that, and I've kept my head down. And then he had quote tweeted that, Paul Brettel did, and said, Gary mentioned it post-game, and I go into greater detail below, but the most encouraging aspect of that fumble by Van Ness was the real-time diagnosis of what San Fran was doing off-play action, formulating a plan of attack, and then executing on it. And again, this immediately made me think, Tim, of how we talked all year long. People were just like, the pass rush is garbage, the pass rush is garbage. And they just think that it's like Madden. It's just, okay, 4 guys, go get the quarterback. And that's not how pass rushing works in the NFL, especially when you're being very, very specific with how you're trying to contain a quarterback, with how you're trying to take away throwing lanes, with how you're basically taking a double team block and using it to the offense's disadvantage by putting that guy in a little shallow spy. A lot of different things come into play here. I thought it was cool that Paul Brettel kind of highlighted that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Paul Brettel always drops gold,
Definitely.
Make sure you're giving him a follow on social media.
Yeah, one of the best follows. I still don't know how he doesn't have 100,000 followers, man. He's a awesome dude and always covering the stuff that matters, man. No doubt about it. So I'll tell you what else matters. You see that Uncrustables ad that just popped off? Lord have mercy, boy, trying to get me hungry in here this morning. All right, so let's see how these teams match up in terms of team statistics, okay? And what we're going to do here is go through what I think are like the 5 or 6 key statistics from a team standpoint and see exactly where the Packers and the Dolphins rank here. Okay, so let's start with NFL team points per play. Okay, this I feel like is the most important offensive statistic when it comes to the NFL. It's how many points is your team generating per play ran. Okay, rather than just points per game, we're going to go points per play. And when we sort that out, Detroit's in number 1 right now. Green Bay is currently 7th in the league at 0.423 points per play. So a legit top 10 offense sitting in the number 7 spot, in my opinion. Now let's go find Miami. Miami is 27th in the league at 0.307. Now immediately people go, oh man, they're hot garbage. Hold on. As Lee Corso said, not so fast. Keep in mind, Tua didn't play a good chunk of the year, right? And Tua's on fire, right?
Look at that number to the right of it. The last
Exactly.
3, right?
So
last 3, you can see the numbers going up, and those are the 3 they had with Tua.
Yeah, exactly. And so Green Bay again, 0.423. That's 7th best in the league. When we go back down to Miami, what Tim's pointing out in their last 3 games, 0.497. Way better than Green Bay on the year in the last 3 game saturation. So really, really important to put that into perspective. And also their last 1 game, right? It inflated the numbers at 0.515. So you got to take that in consideration too. The moral of the story is Miami's offense is way better than 27th best in scoring because they have their starting quarterback now and he seems to be healthy. So an eye on that. So let's move on to rushing offense. We'll go yards per rush attempt here. As far as rushing offense, Green Bay is now 7th in the league, actually tied for 6th at 4.8 yards per attempt. Okay. And Miami is currently sitting in the 22 spot, tied for 21st, I should say, at 4.1 yards per rush attempt. So, we've definitely got the better running game. So you kind of follow that and go, okay, how much emphasis do we need to put on their running game? San Francisco, it was the top priority, obviously, with our boy Brock Purdy being out, right? And Trent Williams as well. It's like, okay, let's just stop the run and make them stand in that pocket. Lo and behold, LVM, they're missing their left tackle. LVM gets a strip sack off the left side, right? Perfect example. So jump up to an early lead and make them throw from behind is kind of the name of the game in that specific game plan. That's why it's important to understand every game is different. We talk about that all the time. These are just simply, let's gauge where these teams are sitting, and then we'll look at what they do well and how we may or may not attack that. So rushing, obviously we've got the advantage there, at least from a statistic standpoint. Now, passing game, yards per pass attempt, Green Bay is currently 6th at 8.2. Miami is sitting in the 21 spot at 6.9. But again, look at the number to the right. Now that Tua's back, 7.8. So if we go back up to Green Bay's at 8.3, in their last 3 games, it would really put them somewhere around the number 8 spot, a legit top 10 passing offense with Tua coming back. None of that really surprises me, Tim.
Yeah.
At you. Let me go back to rushing real quick because I want to see – I kind of got ahead of myself. I want to see where they're at in the last 3 games here. So look, their running game has gotten worse in the last 3 games since Tua came back. So they're putting more emphasis on the passing game. So what that tells me is let's key in on the passing game, right? And we talk about it, right? The 3 facets of the game. You come out in the first quarter, you're gathering information and you're making an adjustment. And then, of course, the second and third quarter is all about controlling the middle late, and fourth quarter is a standalone game. So let's come out in that first quarter. Let's game plan for stopping their passing attack. And then if they start running the ball down our throat, we'll adjust as we go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when it comes to the pass game is, we talked about Miami's offense is, predicate. I mean, any offense is predicated on rhythm, but I think the way that McDaniel likes to use Tua, it's get the ball out quick to the flat, quick on the post, quick, whatever they're doing, it's going to be quick. I don't think he's looking at Tua to stand in that pocket and get to his third or fourth read in the progression. It's like 1-2, hit whatever's open. So I think if the Packers, you're right. Maybe that's the key to the game, might be to put an emphasis on attacking that quick passing game and force them to have to try and run the ball on us. And then we can take advantage, in the run game, hopefully.
Yeah. Now we're going to come back to those team statistics. What I want to do, since you brung that up and the quick passing attack and everything and how they're going to run offensively, let's jump over to NFL Pro real quick and let's look at some of their plays from that last game. Okay, let's get an idea of what they're doing. These are their explosive plays in Week 12 against the New England Patriots. Okay, 10-yard run. Okay, they had 2 explosive runs. Here's the first one. And let's just kind of explain for people on the podcast what we're seeing here. You're seeing a nasty split. Again, they play offense very, very similarly that Matt LaFleur does. This is going to be a 10-yard run. You've seen we broke out the chicanery in that last game against the Niners. Yep. They're going to do it right here. So you got a nasty split, right? You're going to see a little cheat. The guard's pulling to the right. You see the guard pulling right here. So they're showing power G to the right. But notice this wide receiver right here on the edge.
Yep.
So you're going to fake the power G. Look at that little flip. Is that not smooth? And then end around, there it is. And you gash them for 10 yards. Could have been a lot worse. Again, watch it from the end zone cam. This is the type of stuff that McDaniel does to try to get that running game going. Again, they're going to fake power G right with a little cheat, fake power G, a little toss, and we're out the back door. So these are the things you got to look for with Mike McDaniel. Moving on to the second explosive run here. And they're backed up here inside their own 10-yard line. There you see the cheetah is going to do a little cheat motion, right, to the right. So they're going to kind of a tray look to the right, and they're just going inside zone here. So keeping things really, really simple in that regard and picking up 12 yards.
You see how Tariq drew that backer out of the middle of the field there on that play. I mean, this is how you scheme guys open.
No doubt about it, man. It's gonna draw attention. And you got that hat count on the left now.
Yep.
So that was their explosive runs, okay? So let's back up now. Let me widen this out real quick. And let's go to their passing plays now. And we'll just go completion, and let me go through and pick these out real quick. What we're looking for are explosive passing plays, okay? And the reason being is when you hit an explosive play, passing plays of 20 yards or more, or a running play of 10 yards or more, triples your chances of scoring on that drive. So we're going to key in on the explosive passes. Here's the first one to Jalen Waddle for 24 yards. And let's kind of get an idea of what they're doing here. All right, so really cool. This is kind of a gun flex wing look, if you will. It's really a pistol flex wing. Notice it looks like 21 personnel. You see it, Tim? Got 2 backs back here. And out of the pistol, and let's see what they do here. So they cheat out the H-back. Ball snap. Look at Tua. Let's see what the concept reads. Okay, so this is a real simple high-low read. Notice how the Patriots are showing. They're showing middle field close, are they not? You see this? Single high?
Single high.
Yep. Now watch what happens post-snap. Ball snapped. They're actually in 2 high shell.
Yep.
So what's that mean, Tim? Middle field open, right?
That's right.
So what they're going to do here, you see this with Matt LaFleur, T-lead swing. See, you got the lead blocker. You got the swing pass setting it up. You got a go route from the cheetah. I'm going to draw that safety away. And what's going to happen is the Y is going to sit down. Now, too, it's a real quick read. He gets the ball out of his hands really, really fast. He's going to look at the tight end. If those 2 backers bite, then guess what? You hammer the dig over top of it in this space right here. That's exactly what happens. Look at all that space, man.
Yep.
All because they bit on that Y. You had the T-lead swing, and the cheetah was holding that safety at home because he's got world-class speed there.
Yep.
We'll go to the end zone cam so you can see how quickly Tua gets the ball out of his hand, too, man. He's got one of the quickest releases in the NFL right now, no doubt. Protection doesn't have to be good when you get the ball out this way.
When it gets out that quick, it's right.
Ball
if anything,
snap.
Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah,
Good
he has
act-
kind of a compressed delivery, man. It's really hard to, him loading up and releasing the throw is kind of one motion. It's really interesting.
It is, man. And again, it's like it's the equivalent in boxing to a quick jab. You know what I mean? It's just a bang before you know what it's on you. All right, let's go to the next explosive play that we could find here. Combing through. I know we had at least one more in this game. Here we go. This is Tua to Jalen Waddle for 29 yards. All right, let's see what they're doing here. Now they're just in kind of a spread look, right? It looks like it's tray left, 11 personnel tray left, so they will go to 11 when they need to.
New England and cover one man.
That's what it's looking like, and that's what it is. Appears to be cover one man. And what are they going to do here? Single high safety
over the top.
Yeah, exactly. Take that shot. Now, here's the thing. I have confidence right there, Tim, that our DBs can make that play.
I do too. You know what I mean? That ball was underthrown. That's a Xavier McKinney interception waiting to happen.
On the stat sheet, man, 29 yards to Jalen Waddle. Big explosive play. I guarantee you they're showing this in the film room this week to the Green Bay Packers DBs and going, hey, boys, that right there should have been a pick.
Yeah. And that's the one thing I think, if they're going to take, Tua throwing the deep ball that's going to cater to our defense. Our backers and our corners, we need to be disciplined in those short, quick passes, like you said, the high-low concepts and, understanding what we're running. But if he's going to throw meatballs like this up the sideline, I mean, there's an opportunity to get turnovers.
Yeah. And again, keep in mind, guys, their passing game has been hot the last 3 games. Their running game has been cold. Okay. Now you can overcompensate if you ain't careful and thinking, okay, that's just that's the end of the discussion. That's how we need to game plan against them. But you got to be prepared for both. All right. The last one we will show here, there may be more. Let's see. It's third quarter, 144 left. There might be another explosive. Let's go to this one. This is Tua to Jalen Waddle for 23 yards. So you're seeing Waddle pop up over and over and over. This time they're in a pistol set. To me, it looks like it's probably 12. I think that's Jonnu Smith right there, I believe. I think he's in Miami now. So you've actually got a 12 nasty dubs here.
Yep,
12 dubs nasty out of the pistol.
Set. Yep.
And this is what they do now. A little cheat outside. This is an RPO. Remember us talking about the RPOs? So let's back it up just a touch. What's going to happen is this is one of those lookies. The receiver, Jalen Waddle, is just going to run a little hesitated slant route right here. What Tua's reading is this area right here. If this guy backs off and the backer doesn't close enough space, he's going to hammer that slant into Waddle. If that backer takes that slant away, he now takes himself out of the run fit. You hand the ball off the running back and take your hat count there, and you'll see it here. Right? See how he's looking at his eyes? He's reading. Right here, he likes what he sees. This guy's strafing over. You got a little bit of space. Now, it's a top window throw. And this is what we're talking about. If you were to jam that receiver on this play, you're forcing them to play one-dimensional and run the football, right? Yep. Instead, you don't jam them. You got that space. And look at Tua, just quick release, great accuracy, ends up being a touchdown. Yep. End zone cam's a great view right here, Tim. Watch how quick he gets this ball out, and look at the placement of the ball. Look how close the backer gets to getting his hand on it. Watch 48 here. All right.
Yeah. Look at that. The play fake was so fast too.
Yeah.
Held it out for a split second. Boop, pulls it in.
Like a shortstop, right?
Yeah. It's like turning a double play, right?
Yep.
I mean, and look at that pass though. You talk about tight window. That backer almost got a hand on that ball.
Look at that.
And now this is what I'm talking about. We're a little banged up at linebacker. We're going to need our boys to step up. We need another monster game out of Quay Walker tomorrow night for sure.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's see if there is another one. I think that's it. There might have been one snuck in the back. Yep, that's it. So those are your explosive plays by the Dolphins in that last game. All right, and just wanted to point that out because it's important to kind of keep our finger on the pulse there in terms of what are they doing offensively. Again, their running game struggling the last 3 games. Their passing game's heating up. Why is their passing game heating up? You just seen the RPO there. That right there is going to be hard to defend if you don't play aggressive with bump and run. But also when you play bump and run, it will open up for the run. So it kind of, to me, I'm leaning towards let's stop the pass. And if they start running the ball with Achane, then we'll adjust on the fly. Also, you can't let Cheetah beat you over the top, although that's a lower percentage throw unless he just absolutely scorches someone. You guys remember last time, too, we played them. I'm pretty sure they had Tyreek Hill at that time, and we absolutely shut them down. Yep. I remember Jair Alexander. That was the game, right? So I think that was on a holiday, too. It might have been Christmas Eve or something. But, again, that's kind of what they're doing here lately. Now, let's shift focus to defense. And see
real quick before we move on, do you think that with them struggling with the run game, do you think there might be a concerted effort by Miami to try and establish that run? And maybe we see a more ground heavy approach early on than we're expecting?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is the beautiful thing about the NFL is the game planning aspect. The fact that everybody's got tape on everyone. So let's put ourselves in the shoes of the coaches, which we try to do here a lot on the show. All right, you're going into the week, and the Packers are looking at it going, okay, they're seeing the same thing we are. Passing game's strong right now, running game struggling. Let's key in on the pass, right? The Dolphins are going in game planning, going, okay, listen, guys, the Packers shut the 49ers run defense down, right? They may take a little emphasis off of the run here because they know we're weak at it. Let's press into that run for the first quarter, right? Let's really press in and see if we can establish the run and get them out of that pass defense to where we can open up our passing game. And it's exactly what we talk about, Tim.
Yep.
Like Bill Belichick 101, the first quarter, you're gathering information. You're gathering information. How is the team attacking you? It's like the age-old conversation of when you get into a season and you get, on the back half of the season and the team's real hot and you've already played that team, a division rival. And let's say you absolutely boat race that division rival earlier in the year. Okay, what did you do well? Man, we ran the ball all over those guys, right? We ran the ball down their freaking throat. Now you've got to ask yourself, do we do that again? Knowing they're watching the same tape, right? And going, all right, we're going to shut down that run. So you can kind of outthink yourself a little bit. I'm of the opinion, press into what worked last time until they prove they can stop it, but have that backup plan, that backup game plan that when they do load the box, hey, here's where we're going with the football. And you can kind of bake that in. That's what makes RPO so appealing, is you can kind of bake that into an RPO like you've seen there with Tua. It's obvious they were keying in on the run. It was just enough window, short little hip throw, you're in for 6, right? So I don't know if that answered your question, but it's kind of how it works, right? You can
playing chess, not checkers, right?
Exactly. And you can, and Bill Belichick said it on the Manning cast the other night talking to Peyton and Eli, he's like, you can outthink yourself. Like, keep it simple. What do they do well? What do we do well? Let's formulate a game plan to accentuate what we do well and really, really expose what they do not so well, So
absolutely.
Let's move on to defense here. This is opponents' points per play, okay? Green Bay is currently not a legit top 10 scoring defense. I think last year under Joe Barry, we finished 12th. So we have improved 3 spots. That's awesome to hear. Now let's see what Miami's doing defensively. They're actually 15th. Their defense is better than their offense, Tim, according to the numbers statistically. So they're sitting at .365. That's 15th in the league. Listen, that's nothing. That's not like great. It's kind of middle of the pack. But look at the last 3 games, .254. Now, if we were to go back and look, I'm not going to put it on the screen, but let's talk about who their last 3 opponents were, okay? Were they good football teams or not? At the LA Rams, they're probably not making the playoffs, right? Versus the Raiders at home. The Raiders are one of the worst teams in the league. Patriots at home, one of the worst teams in the league, okay? The previous weeks before that, and again, you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt because Tua missed some of these games. They lost to the Colts on the road. They lost to the Cardinals at home, and they lost to the Bills on the road. Now, they only lost to the Bills by 3 points, so they were in that ballgame, right? So their last 3 opponents, when you look at these statistics, you can only play the guys on the schedule, but they were weak opponents. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So it's important to kind of key in on that too. But again, points per play, they're kind of sitting around 15th. But those last 3 games, man, listen, they did what they were supposed to do, right?
Absolutely.
Perspective, .254. That would be best in the league if we were counting that as a 2024 statistic as a whole, right?
Yep.
So, all right, there you go with that. Rushing defense. Let's go on to opponent yards per rush attempt. Let's see what their running defense is doing. Green Bay, not in the league at 4.3 yards per attempt allowed. Miami is 16th at 4.3 yards per attempt allowed, which is the same number. So we have the same exact run defense here, according to this, right?
That's pretty much what Josh Jacobs has been averaging per carry, right? About 4.5 yards.
Yeah. Now let's see if there's a difference in the last 3 games. Green Bay's last 3, 4.2. So it's right there on par with what they've been doing. Miami in the last 3 is 3.9. So they're actually stopping the run better than the Packers in the last 3 games. Okay. Again, weaker opponents, but it's going to be a hell of a matchup, man. That plus 3.5.
Yeah.
I never bet against the Packers. That's my rule. But if the Packers were plus 3.5, I'd take the Packers, no hands down, right? But the Dolphins being plus 3.5, it's like as a Packer fan, I'd have a hard time going -3.5. They may blow them out. You never know. But that -3.5 is probably going to come down to less than a field goal is what it's feeling like, barring anything crazy happening. So
yeah, two teams on a holiday coming off a short week, both teams banged up. Yeah, this is going to be a grinder.
Now remember what we said: defense travels, right? Typically, the passing game struggles to travel. So if their passing game's their strength, that's probably what Vegas is taking into account there a little bit as well with the opening lines. So their strength is typically somewhat of a weakness on the road. Running game and defense typically travel. Their running game has struggled here lately, so it everything does kind of play into Green Bay's hands. But as we say every week, man, it's going to come down to whether or not you're protecting the freaking football.
Yeah, game's played on the field, not on paper, right?
Yeah. If we go out there and protect the ball and win the turnover differential, I feel really good about winning this game. If we go out and throw a couple picks and put one on the turf, it's going to be a long day.
That's right.
Kind of how it feels. Let's see, passing defense, yards per pass attempt. Let's see what their passing defense looks like. 5th best in the league, Tim, at 6.1. And in the last 3 games, 5.6. Their passing defense has been solid. The Packers' passing defense is now down to 16th at 6.6. In the last 3 games, it's sitting at 6.7. So, yeah.
So give Josh Jacobs the ball and get the hell out of the way.
Yeah, it seems like the numbers suggest the Dolphins are going to look at that and go, let's come out and throw the freaking football on the Green Bay Packers, right? That's probably what's going to happen. Now, another key statistic that we like to hit on here is turnovers. So let's look at takeaways per game. What defenses are taking the ball away the best? The Packers are actually tied for first place now at 2 takeaways per game, all right? How good is Miami at doing it? Miami is 18th at 1 takeaway per game. All right, so pretty solid. Now, they're at 1.7 takeaways per game in the last 3 games, and the Packers are sitting at 1. So they've been better at taking the ball away, albeit they played some bad teams as well. Now, what about protecting the football? So when we go turnovers we'll go giveaways per game, right? Giveaways per game, I imagine they're probably going to be better than us here. Let's double check, though. So. Yeah, Miami is 12th in the league at 1.1, actually tied for 11th in the league. They're only giving away the ball 1.1 times per game, and they in the last 3, they've only done it 1.0. Green Bay is at 1.3, but the last 3 is at 0.7, so we've gotten better there. So that's kind of a push there, you know?
Yeah, it is.
And if they're going to be running RPOs and stuff, you cannot get caught up in trying to get too aggressive rushing the quarterback here. What I would be focused on, Tim, and watching the tape is when they go RPO pass, what's the percentage that they throw to the right? What's the percentage they throw to the left? What's the percentage they throw to the strong side? What's the percentage they throw to the weak side? And whatever those numbers shake out to, I don't care if it's 50.1% to one side, let's make sure we're focused on taking the throwing lanes away on that side of the field. Meaning you don't just duck your head and go after the quarterback. You engage, get your eyes onto it, and get your hands in those damn throwing lanes. That's another way you can combat that RPO.
And we have the scramble factor with Tua also. Don't forget that. This is a quarterback that will, much like Kyler Murray and a lot of these other guys we've come up against, he will wiggle out of there and turn it into a positive gain if you get, caught being too aggressive in the pass rush. If you get, rushed too deep or you're over pursuing, he's going to make you pay. It could be just throwing the swing or the check down, but it could also be spinning out, tucking the ball and running up the sideline. So we have to consider all those factors when we're approaching this Miami offense,
Yeah. Now, another thing that played a big role, in my opinion, in the 49ers game was the penalties, right? 49ers they played reckless all day long. It was especially on special teams, which we talked about that. I think it was Monday on Victory Monday. We talked about, kind of felt like that was the game plan, was make them return the ball because they're very, very undisciplined on special teams. Let's just talk about penalties in general. The Packers are 23rd in the league in terms of, disciplinary, I guess you could say. It's kind of hard to read into. Actually, they would be 23rd. It sorts it by least penalties to most. So let's just keep it there to keep it simple. The Packers are 23rd in the league at 6.7 penalties per game that they commit. The Dolphins are at 6.1. That's 14th. So not a huge difference there in terms of discipline, 6.7 to 6.1. Probably going to get maybe a penalty or two more on the Packers if the numbers hold up. So not overly concerned about the penalties. You still got to come out and play discipline, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of a push in that regard. That makes sense?
It does. Have we identified the officiating crew yet?
We have not heard from Robert, but if you want to go ahead and
get on this,
go ahead and look it up. And what I'll do is get it keyed up for the rankings themselves and see exactly where that official comes into play. I've got it bookmarked here, which is hilarious. That's 2024 in a nutshell, man. Actually keeping up with the referee stats it's so funny, man. So funny. I can get this ad to hop off here. I mean, just a second, guys. This is great podcasting here. Here we go. All right, so there we go. We got that. Let's drop this down. Let's get the official stats up. Tim, do we have a name yet or no?
I'm looking here. Let's see.
Combing through the files, guys.
Sean Smith. Oh, okay. I like this guy. Got a good ref here.
All right, so Sean Smith, you said, is the head official, correct?
Yes, sir.
Where is he at on the list? Here we go. All right, so he's kind of middle of the pack, right?
Yep. Like a ref should be, balanced, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So as far as total flags, let's key in on that because to me that's probably the most telling statistic. Ron Tolbert still leading the way, Tim. Surprise, surprise.
Ronnie boy.
Ron leading the league with 197 flags.
Here's the guy.
Craig Rolstad. Have you seen the video of Ron Tolbert from the last game? I want to show it, but it's a telecast, so we might get hit with a copyright. Bro, it's hilarious. It's Bo Nix talking trash to a defender. And Ron Tolbert comes in the picture. He's going super slow motion. Whoa. Those big glasses. It's awesome, dude. Absolutely awesome. So Sean Smith has thrown 165 flags this year. Listen, he is officiating the same amount of games as Clete Blakeman, as Ron Tolbert, Craig Rolstad, and Adrian Hill, who lead the league in penalties, okay? But Clete Blakeman, Alex Kemp, and Clay Martin have officiated one less game than Sean Smith, and they all have more total flags than Sean Smith.
So Sean Smith is like us. Let him play football. If it's not blatantly obvious of a foul, we don't need to throw a flag for every little thing.
Yeah. So I'm feeling good about the penalty situation in this game. You got an official that's pretty balanced. He's not gonna get flag happy. And also the number is within one in terms of the teams and how disciplined they are. So again, what we've come up with, man, is let's come out and stop their passing game, and let's try to run the football on them. That's what it feels like, man.
Absolutely. And to your point about the officials, if we do see a lot of flags, then can't blame the refs in this one. Yeah, I mean, you got to really be messing up out there, looking at this officiating crew. So, I don't anticipate too many questionable flags. Of course, you get them here and there, but hopefully they just let them play, man. It's Thanksgiving. You got football in Green Bay under the lights. Let these guys play. Yeah.
And then when you look at the weather as well, it's going to be cold. It's going to be in the 20s, right? I think is what they're calling for.
Yep.
So if it's going to be in the 20s, that would lean more into the running game, right? Packers have the better running game. They have the better run defense. Tua, cold weather, hand size matters. I think I read that he has 10-inch hands. Jordan Love has 10.5-inch hands. So, still decent hand size for a quarterback. I don't think you'll have a problem protecting the football. We've seen it over and over and over. But you also take into consideration that they haven't played much in cold weather, and they've struggled in cold weather as a team. Typically, Florida teams coming up to play in the cold. Doesn't mean anything's a slam dunk. It's just, like I said, all these are key statistics. But again, just a quick recap. The run defense is the same all year long, but here lately, the Dolphins have been a little bit better at run defense, but it's been three bad teams. So just go out there and pound the rock. Don't get cute, protect the football and make them make the mistakes. And again, Mike McDaniel is one of the great young coaches in this league, Tim. He's going to have his team in a position to win the game at the end of the game. There's no doubt.
Yep. And we're going to get a treat as football fans. You're going to see Matt LaFleur against McDaniel. These guys are going to be in their bags, and two dynamic offenses. It's going to be fun to watch. And I think from our defense's perspective, our boys up front and in the middle, man, we got to play big and tall, get them hands up. Tua is a shorter quarterback. You know, if we get him in the trenches, make it difficult for him to see down the field. You know, be aggressive up front when you know, like we talk about, you're not always rushing the quarterback. You know, maybe you got one or two guys that are trying to get to him. You know, maintain your edges and get those hands up when he's releasing the ball. Might get a batted ball here, a tip pass for a pick or something.
Yeah. Let's see here. Omer says in the chat, he has a couple of fumbles 2 games back. Tua does. Oh, boy.
Here we go.
We're at the 50-minute mark. Let's go find them, Tim. Let's see what happened on these fumbles. You want to? We'll do this and we'll wrap up. All right. NFL Pro is awesome. Here's how we're going to do it. Let's go to the Miami Dolphins team statistic page. All right. Let's go rushing leaders. Let's look at the fumble column here. All right. Tua, 2 fumbles. He's on the mark. Let's click those. And guess what, Tim? We have the tape.
How
freaking cool is that, man? NFL Pro is a game changer, dude. So,
I love it.
Yeah, here we are. It's against the Cardinals. They lost this game. I wonder why, right? There you go. Let's key in here. This was a 1st and 10 play, too. Tua fumbles, and it was recovered at and he recovered it at the Miami 48. But let's just see what happens here. Let's see if it was just a bad exchange under center or if it was anything else. Let's see what happened. Yep. Okay, so just a bad exchange under center. All right, that's what that was. Let's go to the next fumble. Same game. Tua fumble. Let's see if it was a bad exchange again. This is actually in the gun. See if it's a bad snap or if he actually fumbles here. Yep, bad snap. Not really a bad snap.
I don't know about bad snap.
Right.
Maybe a hot snap that came pretty fast, but it looked like it was right to his hands.
Watch how fast that thing comes out. Yeah, you're right. It was in a good location, just a little hot. But again, so that's why it's important to watch the tape. People see the stat column, they think, oh, he fumbles, right? Both those fumbles, center exchange, still a fumble. Don't get me wrong, Omer, you're spot on there, buddy.
Yep.
But you fumble the snap and then you fumble the shotgun snap. So, and then you got this guy sneaking in with his little.
This guy, look at him playing hooky today. It's on a morning show.
Sponsor the show, right, Mark?
Love it.
What's going on, Emilio? How you doing, man? Uh-oh, you're glitchy, man. Did you not pay?
I'm good.
Emilio, what's going on? You stealing your neighbor's
No. Oh, yeah. Kmart connection at its best.
Maybe it'll settle in.
No, I'm good, man. Yeah, family's in town. So I just got up early. Wanted to say what's up to the fellas. Got a big dub this week. Got a big game coming up now. That's it.
Heck yeah.
I appreciate everybody.
Let's get your take real quick. We're getting ready to wrap up. I gotta go get a haircut, man. It's I'm running out of time.
That's why I got a hat on. I'm same way.
So tell us your quick take on the Dolphins. It ain't gotta be nothing extravagant, but how you feeling about this as we get ready to play tomorrow?
I think just that they're going to lose a little bit of that speed on offense playing up in the cold, and I think that's just going to be the biggest thing. I mean, if they're not in rhythm on time, I think that offense isn't at its full potential, right? Even if they're running at 70%, we'll take it. And anything to really get. I mean, they've been kind of bit by a snake being 5-6. That division's kind of all of the Bills just a wash, it seems like. But if they can come back with a win here, that'd be huge for their season. So it's not like they're going to give up and just kind of keel over because it's cold. So I think that it's going to be a good game, night game. Like Josh was saying in his interview the other day, he hates those kind of games. Got to kind of nap throughout the day with it being Thanksgiving. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. And so, just keep your head on straight and be ready for that game at 7 at night.
Yeah, Coach Lynn in the chat said that there's still Kmart's out there. And let me paint you all a picture if you've never been in a Kmart. Imagine a dirtier version of Walmart, right? And Pall Mall smoke in the air. Circa 1989, 1994-ish, you know what I mean? Bro, it was a thing to behold. It was, your mom, get off the floor. That's a nasty floor. Get your ass off that floor. Like, you know what I mean? It's just kind of grimy.
I got an uncle that always called it came apart. Everything you got there came apart.
Yeah, that's true.
That's funny, man. Yeah. So
that's where Mike McGaney's got those ice cubes he was talking about. He got a couple bags that he was saying that he was throwing ice cubes at the players, keep them ready for the game.
Yeah. Right. He's so quirky, dude. I think he's authentic, though. I really do, man. He definitely hits the devil's lettuce from time to time. There's no doubt in my mind. I think he's
what they should have done is practice in like an ice rink down there or something. You know, like when we get a turf on an ice rink, we'll run a couple routes, get it nice and cold in there, see what it feels like.
Came apart, dude. That's such an accurate statement. We have one in Harlan, Kentucky, bloody Harlan, and there was an Aladdin's Castle arcade down the hall from it. That nice. Kmart, man, I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. Kmart's just something that it was.
There was nothing like Aladdin's Castle, man. Us 80s babies know about them arcades, man. Get you a pocket full of quarters.
Man, go in there and play some Mortal Kombat. Get over here.
You know what sucked when they switched from the quarters to the tokens? And then you had to use the gold tokens. It's dude. And then I had a whole duffel bag of tickets. You know, like you run through, even when you don't have coins, you run through, try to grab them out of the machine. You know, if anybody left them.
Yeah.
Man.
Bro, there's got to be a funny Kmart picture out there. Say something smart while I look one up. This is how you're late to get your haircut.
Fun fact: there used to be a Kmart across the street from Lambeau Field.
Really?
It's now a beautiful development that we refer to as Titletown. So,
Tim,
thank goodness it's no longer a Kmart location.
Could you imagine though how helpful that would be pregame?
Oh, it was
just walk in there, get a couple cases.
Yeah. There was the Packer tailgate and you had the Kmart tailgate before the game too.
That's true. Yeah, everybody in there's tailgating inside. That's where all the smoke comes from, Clayton.
Yeah,
they just
Kmart
pump it in there. Yeah, everyone's smoking inside of Kmart. You guys could go outside, right?
Some of these pictures are hilarious, man. I don't know if we can put them on the screen, to be honest with you.
Here we go. Aladdin's Castle carpet was 90% spilled soda.
Oh God, you know it, dude. It was so grimy in there, man. Oh, it was so grimy. And there was always a van in the parking lot of Kmart that had free candy wrote on the side of it. Like I guarantee you, every single time, man. The 80s and the 90s were a wild time. The 80s were really wild.
Clayton, Merritt's got something to say to you, man. He said those White Castles are awful. Don't know how anyone can eat that crap.
All right, listen. I had anger since someone said they hadn't seen Roadhouse. All right. White Castles and Crystals are I mean, it's the closest that I imagine when I get to heaven, God's going to meet me at the gate with a platter of just crystal burgers.
Right? The box, right? You want the cardboard box of like the 30 burgers?
Oh, yeah, dude, you kidding me? No cheese. Listen, I'm not wasting calories on that fake plastic. Give me the crystal burger with the onions, the gut grenades. You know what I'm talking about?
Gut grenades.
It's over for a week.
And you know what he does? He takes the bottom bun off of one, takes the top bun off the other,
and then
we compress it. And that's how we cut through 30 burgers in half the time. We make it a 15-pack, save time and calories on the bottom and top buns.
Yeah.
Garbage.
That's how I eat my Krispy Kreme donuts, too. You just take a couple and smash them down, man.
Yeah, once you smush it, you lose half the calories.
My buddy Eric, he's like, I don't know how you eat that trash, man. The buns are soggy like pudding. And I'm like, hey, bro, that's just part of the experience, man. You got to embrace it. Ain't that what Matt LaFleur says? Embrace the suck, right? Come on, man. Let's do it. Anyway, this show sucks. Emilio got in here.
Normally, Clayton, you eat those the morning after your.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
The morning after what, Emilio?
The morning after your piss is hot. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of saying, it was a long night. I gotta.
Yeah. Listen, I can eat them for breakfast, man. I love crystal burgers, bro. I'm telling you. I might go get some right now, matter of fact.
There you go. Hey.
Yeah. Milkshakes. They had a milk quake is what they called it, right? Strawberry milk quake. Oh, my God. Money. No calories, no fat, nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sugar-free, just healthy.
Yeah, it's just basically water in a cup.
Ain't nothing for me to throw down 3,000 calories at a crystal on 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I promise you. So
the XL concrete mixer from Culver's, whatever you need, Clayton's got it.
Exactly. Nick McSwain said this show sucks. Hit the like button. That's it, guys. We're done. I'm not even going to say bye. Emilio gets in here for 2 damn minutes and the thing goes off the rails. Y'all have a good day.